like it's been winter forever. But yeah, what was I saying? The phones. Like, we're so glued to technology. Like, yeah, what I said before was like right this second, right? It's, I don't know, 9:15. Most grown-ups, right, that are awake right now where I am, say in this neighborhood, you know, are on their phone or on some device right this second. And I remember growing up in the 90s, right? Because I'm an 80s baby. Growing up, like, it was never like that though. Like, it wasn't. Because they would, like, growing up, they could watch TV, or if they weren't watching TV or whatever, like, could be reading, or doing a hobby, doing a sport, you know, go for a walk. Yeah, definitely, like stuff. They did other things. I don't know, maybe it's just my background, but that's what my family did. You know, I don't ever remember, like, them being so glued to devices, like, just sitting there doing fucking fuck all. Right? It's wild to me, man. It's wild to me. That shit is wild, bro. That shit is actually crazy wild to me. You know? How is that possible? How is that possible in any reality? Like, how is it possible? It doesn't add up, man. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Right, today I'm just getting some wings. I don't even know how I'm here. And people are just glued to entertainment all the time. That's what I'm trying to say. Not entertainment, devices. Yeah? Like, even if you're glued to entertainment, like, I mean, you could say that, you know, in the 80s, 70s, people then went out drinking then, or whatever, which is bad. But I don't know if it was bad, because they socialized, you know, they're socializing. That's number one. People are talking to people, they're interacting as humans. People going to the dance, you know, so they're not just stuck on your phones. Like, what's the big advancement anyway? What's the big advancement? Zero. There's nothing that we can say, all right, we've got these devices, wherever you can order food in like 10 seconds to your house, right? Okay, big whoop. Like, yeah, they may have not had that, but they had friends. They could just go to their friend's house, you know, or their friends would come around for dinner. Like, your parents or the grown-ups had friends, wholesome friends, you know, they had kids. You know, there was a nice sense of community. People weren't stuck on their phones. Like, it's mental, bruv. It's mental. Like, I think back to my childhood and think, okay, so the times I went on a plane and shit. Like, how did we make the journey? How did we make it, bro? How did we fucking make it? Because if you look at this modern generation of kids, bro, like, without iPads and sweets and this and this and this, bro, you won't be able to do the journey. And to me, it's like, how is that possible? Like, how is it that in one generation, right, we've gone from having a fairly decent attention span to literally having none? That's what I really want to understand. Like, how are these kids so addicted to phones and games and shit? You know, we had games too, like, but I don't know, maybe it's just the world I grew up in, man. You know, we all love Mario and we all wanted to play and shit like this, and we all got really, really, like, but I suppose it was like, in the house, it wasn't a handheld device. I suppose if you had a Game Boy, then maybe you were the same. I had a Game Boy, but it got stolen. But I didn't really play it for long. I actually played it for a little while, actually, but I don't remember if I was that addicted. I mean, they run on batteries anyway, so they died. Whereas with these shits, you just charge them. You know what I mean? Whereas when we had like the fucking Nintendo Game Boys and shit, like the Game Boy used to take 4 AA, right? And it was a stress just to get 4. You know, you had to go like get your money and go and buy them, and you know, especially if you didn't have money. It was like, oh, fucking hell, how am I gonna get battery? So you ration that shit, you know. Yeah, I guess. So maybe it was like you learn how to conserve the battery and stuff. So I suppose that even taught us a valuable lesson on how to manage the device itself. Whereas like these kids, like they just plug in these shits and that's it. Like I've seen my son, he sits next to the fucking socket with the thing plugged in playing. I'm like, whoa, you know? And they're properly crazy for this shit now. You tell them that, they're just like, oh my God, it's a big fucking deal, you know? It's mental, man. It's mental. It's really kind of crazy. It's really kind of crazy how we've gone from that to this. Like people used to sit by the radio and listen. We did that. My generation did that. You know, we used to sit by the radio waiting for like a freestyle to drop or a song to drop and shit like this, right? But now that shit doesn't exist anymore. Like you request a song on the radio and it was a big deal for you for your shit to come on the radio. Tell me I'm lying. 80s babies, like 80s and late 90s babies. Tell me I'm lying. It was a big fucking deal. It was like, whoa, you know what I mean? But now it's like it's fucking shit. Like Snapchat, fucking streaming services, all the music right at your fingertips. Bro, imagine like some of us had to use like recorders and shit. Like you had to record the track or you wouldn't catch it and you'll have the DJs fucking shouting in the track. And DJs, you guys are arseholes for that. Let's be honest. Like all the fucking old school DJs talking over the song, knowing that we wanted to hear the shit, and you just ruined the fucking thing. That was some fucking stupid shit, man. I don't get it. Don't ever do that again when you come back. But yeah, man. You know, we value things differently. That's what I think I'm trying to say. In the old world I come from, it's like we value things very differently. Things were of much value. You know, you heard a song, it was like mind blowing because you didn't know when you were going to hear it again. So you really had to be present and see this. That's the answer. See, you modern generation kids will never understand. That's why your music is shit. It has no feeling. Like, and it's not even a disrespect thing. Like, the point I'm trying to make is we had to be present for the music, right? And if you go back to the older generation, like my uncles and my parents and stuff, their era, because I think my uncle, they saw Bob Marley live. Yeah, my uncles, two of them, they did it. And you know, obviously they saved money to get the tickets and they waited because they knew it was coming. And music wasn't even as accessible as it was in our time, right? So when they went to that concert, that shit etches in your memory. It's like a once in a lifetime thing. They absorb that shit and it's in them. Whereas you guys, like, there's a fucking concert and a fucking thing every fucking week. There's a concert literally every week. Every week there's a concert. You know, like there used to be festivals. There would be one festival. Glastonbury was the festival when I was coming up. You know, I don't remember like everything else. Then Reading came up. Then from Reading was like Leeds. Then from Leeds and Reading there was fucking another one and another one, another one, and then fucking this in the park, that in the park, somewhere in the this, somewhere in that. There's literally like 2,000 fucking festivals. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's lost all its meaning. Can you not see it? Like everything's corrupted. It's lost its meaning. It's lost its luster. It's lost the feeling it had, you know, before. Like, you know, if there was only one festival and you went to it, it was a life-changing experience. People fucking met and married at met and married from Glastonbury, and you're together now. Like, do you see what I'm saying? And even the ones that are not together, like that moment is a forever thing for them. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that's what I'm trying to say. The world we live in now is so desolate, man. It's so cold. Like, it's so motherfucking cold, man. It's so cold. It's lost so much, and I'm a very old soul, and I've been cycled back in this fucking bitch many times, so I see it very differently. But yeah, man. So there's everything's available. If you want to go and watch a movie, just fucking go on www. and it's there. Like we used to have to download movies and shit. Like people would say, it sounds like almost like an old person talking, right? But it's real. It happened, and I'm in my 30s, bro. I'm not even old. I'm a young 30 something as well. So it's crazy that we have this difference, this massive difference in perspective. It's out of this world. It's massive disconnect. You know, so for me, it begs the question, like, how has there been such a rapid change, man? You know what I'm saying? How? The change has been too drastic, my people. Like, what the fuck? Like, we, you know, used to, from having 2 songs on your phone, right? And you used to cherish that shit. Like, those of us that grew up on the Nokias and shit, like, you know, when grime was coming up and shit, you know, you had to, you know, and, you know, or whatever, you're like, nah, you know, a new song came out, new freestyle, Kano, beats and bars or some shit. And it's like, oh, cool. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to take off this song for that? Nah, I don't think so. And it's like, or whatever, you know, it was a different world, bruv. It was a different world. And as much as you think, oh yeah, having abundance makes the experience rubbish. You guys are basically like the fucking spoiled kid that has absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. He's got everything to the point. Like, and I feel like that's what I've done for my kids, and it burns me sometimes. Like, I've done too much for my kids. Like, too much. You know? They travel, they do this, It's like there's no value. The other day, I set my kid a task and I said, okay, when you win, I'm going to give you some money, yeah? I gave him the money. He was playing this video game. He left the money there. Like, it's not, and tomorrow will come and I'll ask him, what'd you do with the money? He'll be like, oh yeah. Like, it has no importance to them. And it's fine, right? It's cool. But the thing is, for me to have enabled you to be able to feel this way, I had to move differently. Like, we had a different value system. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So my value system is that I know for a fact that value system enabled me to create what I created for you, right? I don't know how your value system is I don't know how that's gonna play out for the next generation. But again, maybe that's not